Well, that indeed is an interesting idea. Are there dogs in heaven? What is dog heaven like? And right now, some of you are saying, Stan, I thought for the most part this was a serious program. Well, it usually is. But you have to understand that there's a lot of good wisdom and truth in those things that may seem foolish, a little bit mysterious, certainly odd. But can I guarantee you today that I'm going to delight you with a little story about, that's right, Dog Heaven, a book I found by Cynthia Rylant. And if you listen carefully to the story, I think you'll smile. But then if you take a few minutes, maybe a little bit more time than that, I think you might discover some real meaning and some real truth in Dog Heaven. Dog Heaven begins right now. Well, I do thank you. Well, it's the week between Christmas and New Year's, and many people take this week off. If they don't take it off, they perhaps take it down a bit. Perhaps family and friends and other things are all around. And of course, then there is the coming up New Year's celebration, which again is a time for good times, for entertainment, again bringing family and friends together. So I thought this would be a good time to talk about Dog Heaven. But the reason I think about that is my daughter, who is not a child anymore, in fact she has a child of her own, came to our new home in Carolina, and we moved a lot of the kids' stuff along with us. It's kind of gone from Minnesota to Arizona to Carolina, and now we are declaring that kids' stuff has to go to the homes that the kids have now established on their own. And so we brought along a whole bunch of books, and they went through them, and they decided which books they were going to keep and which books they should perhaps give to other children. Well, in doing that, we came across a book from many, many years ago called Dog Heaven. May I read the story to you today? When dogs go to heaven, they don't need wings, because God knows that dogs love running best. He gives them fields, fields, and fields, and fields. When a dog first arrives in heaven, he just runs. Dog Heaven has clear, wide lakes filled with geese who honk and flap and tease. The dogs love this. They run beside the water and bark, and God watches them from behind a tree and smiles. There are children, of course, angel children. God knows that dogs love children more than anything else in the world. So he fills Dog Heaven with plenty of them. There are children on bikes and children on sleds. There are children throwing red rubber balls and children pulling kites through the clouds. The dogs are there, and the children love them dearly. And oh, the dog biscuits. Biscuits and biscuits. As far as the eye can see, God has a sense of humor. So he makes his biscuits in funny shapes for his dogs. There are kitty cat biscuits and squirrel biscuits, ice cream biscuits, and ham sandwich biscuits. Every angel who passes by has a biscuit for a dog. And of course, all God's dogs sit when angels say sit. You see, every dog becomes a good dog in Dog Heaven. God turns clouds inside out to make fluffy beds for the dogs in Dog Heaven. And when they are tired from running and barking and eating ham sandwich biscuits, the dogs each find a cloud bed for sleeping. They turn around and around in the cloud until it feels just right, and then they curl up and they sleep. God watches over each one of them, and there are no bad dreams. Dogs in dog heaven have almost always belonged to somebody on earth. And of course the dogs remember this. Heaven is full of memories, so sometimes an angel will walk a dog back to earth for a little visit, and quietly and visibly the dog will sniff about his old backyard, will investigate the cat next door, will follow the child to school, will sit on the porch and wait for the mail. When he is satisfied that all is well, the dog will return to heaven with the angel. It is where dogs belong, near God who made them. The dogs in dog heaven who had no real homes on earth are given one in heaven. The homes have yards and porches. There are couches to lie on and tables to sit under while angels eat their dinners. There are special bowls with the dogs' names on them, and each dog is petted and reminded how good he is all day long. Dogs in dog heaven may stay as long as they like, and this can mean forever. They will be there when old friends show up. They will be there at the door. Angel dogs. Did you like that? Just a few comments. My wife has a little sign that she brings into our home and carries it with her, and it's made the trip to Carolina. It just simply says this: I wish heaven had visiting hours. Think about that. I wish heaven had visiting hours. What an interesting idea. And one of the questions I oftentimes ask people when they're seeking to develop a strategy and a plan for life is very simply, hey, if heaven had visiting hours, who are some of the people you'd like to talk to? You'd like to not only meet them, but maybe find some of the wisdom and insight and strength and purpose and direction they found or we found in their lives, and we'd like to learn from them. Yeah, I wish heaven had visiting hours. Now, in a very interesting aside to this, there was a time when we were talking about this, and family was all around, and we just simply asked in good sense and good humor, well, are there any dogs in heaven? Well, one pastor, a very nice man, got into a theological talk about it, and he just couldn't handle the idea that there would be dogs in heaven. And unfortunately, we had to put an end to it because it got a little bit heated, and there was no attempt to cause any conflict. It was just a way of thinking about what we would like and what we would be. I remember once my dear old grandmother who loved her coffee. And I remember my dad said to her one time, well, Grandma, if there's no coffee in heaven, will you still want to go? And you could see that she was a simple woman, and she was a bit taken back by that. And then she paused and simply said, no coffee in heaven? Don't worry about that. It wouldn't be heaven with no coffee. I think all of us need to think and feel about the fact this world, this situation is not our home. We don't need to fear death because we know that dying is simply the birth into perhaps a better life. And it also reminds us to think, but in our thinking, to always embrace mystery. Are there dogs in heaven? That's a mystery. Not a great mystery, but perhaps it's something that we can smile and embrace and engage in because it gives us a thought of what truly is good, what truly are the things in our life that we want, and to understand that we will seek them here on planet Earth as best we can. But we also know that there are great and deep mysteries, and that in the very presence of the person of God, the persons of God, who knows what delights might be there for us. Little bit of the Twilight Zone, and as Rod Serling used to say many years ago, when he brought us into that twilight zone between thought and reason, between imagination and real, he said, just an idea for your thought and consideration. So there we go. Are there dogs in heaven? You decide. I'm Stan Houston. This is Interesting Ideas, and we want you to be a part of this program. Yes, again, I'm Stan Houston with What It Takes Radio, along with my colleague Sherry, a new venture that's out to help you literally start your own radio station, and you can now do that. You also, perhaps with the newest iPhones, if you want to, quote, do that, you may actually have your own television station. They're thinking about that. All of us need to know that in the world we're in, that we not only are going to have to be in some respect consumers of that kind of technology, but in our life, in our business, and in whatever else we're all about, we're going to have to be engaged in knowing how to do it. We can help you create world-class podcasts and become world-class broadcasters to help you build your business, make your mark, empower your ministry, your organization, your great and good cause. We're in the business of helping you discover your audience and how to reach them with power, impact, and in a way that can not only matter, but perhaps make a difference in your world, and who knows, perhaps a difference in the world. So please reach out to us. Please go to witradio.net, witradio.net, and say, Stan, I'd like to be on Interesting Ideas. And you know what? I'm even interested in starting my own program to see what it would bring to me in 22. We can help you do just that. That's what we do. And I'm very confident that we can do it well for you. witradio.net, or reach out to me at stan@witradio.net, and then come back again. We have more interesting ideas for you too in 22.